जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य श्री अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Shri Astottara Shata Shri Srimad ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Shri Astottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामा कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की व्रज भूमि वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुर धाम की श्री श्री किशोर किशोरी की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र महारानी की श्री श्री गौर निताय की श्री श्री गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय, बृहद मृदंग की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, निताय गौर सीतनाथ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, glories, glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadadaine Hiranyakashipurvakyaha Shilatanka nakhalaye Ito Nasingha Parato Nasingha Yato Yato Yamitato Nasingha Bahe Nasingha Rudaye Nasingha Narsingha Madim Saranam Prapate Tabakara Kamala Bare Nakha Madhuta Singha Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tano Bringha Kesavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare
केशवजीता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे Jaya Nasing Hare Jaya Nasing Hare Nasing Hare Jaya Nasing Hare Jaya Pralan Maharaj Jaya Pralan Maharaj Pralan Maharaj Jaya Bhakta Pralan Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Kishore, Kishori, Jaya Kishori, Jaya Kishore, Kishori, Jaya Kishore, Kishori. Jaya Goranita, Jaya Goranita, Jaya Goranita, Jaya Goranita. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gora Hari Bol. नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री श्री गुरु महाराज की जय. Thy Gaur Premanande, all glories to symbol devotees, all glories to symbol devotees, all glories to symbol devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Prabhupada ki.
Please stay. Please repeat after me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for being here with us for our Sunday feast program. Our speaker is running late, caught in the traffic, but he will be here very soon. So in the meantime, I will just share with you a couple of events which are going to take place in the next few weeks, which are very interesting. So first of all, I would like to ask who all participated in our Rath Yatra on 23rd of July. Wow. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your presence and your contribution, because everybody who was there, they contributed in some way or the other, and we are really very grateful to you for your services. Now, for those who participated as well as those who couldn't participate, we say Lord Jagannath is very, very merciful. He is coming out again on the street for the benefit of all of us. So on next Saturday, there will be a parade from Western to Devon and then ending at Washno Avenue in Republic Bank, parking area. So the details are there on our website. Please, if your schedule permits, please do participate in that. It will be also an interesting Harinam. You can do that together with rest of our devotees. Then on 12th of August, we have a very big event, as a matter of fact, for Midwest, or as a matter of fact, the entire North America. Is called Bud Billiken Parade. And again, Lord Jagannath is being so merciful. In his merciful mood, he will be again out on the street. There will be a parade in south side of Chicago. Again, temple will participate in a big way, and we request all of you to come and participate in the Bud Billiken Parade. After the parade, prasadam will be served for all the devotees. Again, the details are available. Also, our today's speaker, Gaurmani Prabhu, he has been coordinating this event for several years, I think for several decades rather. So he probably will share some more details with us when he's here. So mark your calendar, August 5th and August 12th, both days. If you can do participate in both, well and good. Otherwise, at least one of them. Then there are several children who attend our Sunday school in the temple. I see some very little ones here and one over there. They are too young, but I'm sure there are others. So the registration for the next session is open. You can contact our representative in the lobby, Shraddha Devidasi. She is there. She will be in the lobby for the registration. Also, you can go online and do the registration. So this is for the session starting on August 19th. So that will be our another program. So before, though the speaker is not here, so let me take the opportunity of speaking few things about him. Gaurmani Prabhu is one of our very senior devotee. He has been associated with the movement for several decades. He lives in south side of Chicago, and he has a preaching center called Hare Krishna Temple of the Heart, where he conducts programs for the devotees who are living in south side. But as a matter of fact, each and every person is welcome to go there and attend his programs. So he will be speaking today about Nitya. Nitya Dharma is Bhakti Yoga. So he is going to speak about that. He will be here shortly. In the meantime, we will have little more Kirtan. Okay. Thank you so much once again. Okay, we can do the book distribution for first. So, is there anybody here for the very first time? We have a gift for you, Prabhu, over there. On the Mataji side also. Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much for the newcomers. Please, every Sunday we have this program starting at 5 o'clock. And at the end of the class, which is normally around 6:30, 6:35, we serve dinner, vegetarian prasadam upstairs on third floor. So you are most welcome to join us every Sunday. Our speaker is here. Let's welcome him with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol. And please, you can kind of, sit yourself in a way that you are facing the speaker. The Prabhus can sit there, Matajis can come this, and let's get a little bit closer to the speakers. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristaya Bhutale, Srimati Indrajuna Swami Nityanamane, Namaste Sarasvati Devi, Gauravani Pachadane, Namaste Sasunyavare, Pyaskatara Sitarane, Mangana Tamaranda Shaganangana Shalakaya, Chakshum Militam Nina Tasmai Sri Gurve Namaha, Sri Chaitanya Mano Vistam Sapatam Nina Bhutale, Swayam Vankadam Yam Dadatis Vavedantikam. Hare Krishna. Good to see you all here. You didn't run away. I apologize from the bottom of my heart for being late. But there's so much traffic and road construction. I thought I prepared for it, but it happened anyway. I'm sorry. But today's class, there's been so many obstacles here for me to overcome to present this class. So I hope that it helps someone to really understand The topic of the month is Bhakti Yoga, as you all know. How many people are here new for the first time? Are there? There are a few. Okay. Hare Krishna. I'll try to explain this in a way that you can understand because it's a simple process, but it's a deep subject. So, the title of my lecture today is Nitya Dharma is Bhakti Yoga. Nitya means eternal, and Bhakti Yoga is the highest form of yoga. We've been talking about chapter by chapter of the Bhagavad Gita this year, and we've come to the chapter on Bhakti Yoga, the part on Bhakti Yoga, which means loving devotional service to the Supreme. You can have Bhakti in other traditions. Don't think that it's just for the Vaishnavas. Christians and Muslims, as long as they believe in God, they do partake in bhakti. So I got a couple of questions to start this off. The first one is, how many of you can say you're in Vaikuntha in the spiritual world? The second one is, how many of you want to go back home, back to Godhead? I guess the A, B part of this question is why. And the reason I ask these questions is because Prabhupada said before, time and time again, wherever a temple is situated, it's situated in the spiritual sky. So we may not think that we're in the spiritual world, but we are in the spiritual world. The deities are here, Kishore, Kishore. All of his servants, his devotees are here. So we want to talk about understanding God. And in connection with understanding God, we have to understand ourselves. Maybe that's why we don't realize that we're in the spiritual world, because we don't know who we are. Krishna, as well as us, we're all eternal living beings. And it's described as we're like sparks from a fire. Krishna is the big fire, and we're the small infinitesimal sparks from that fire. We're all eternal, and our nature is called Sat, Chit, and Ananda. It means we are eternal, we are wise, we're smart, we know, and we're full of happiness, bliss, by nature. But because we don't know who we are, we think that we have to find happiness somewhere else, or that we can find happiness on our own somewhere else with just our efforts. And we try in so many ways to make ourselves happy, when actually, in reality, we are already happy. We just forgot. We're minute, we're small, and we, because of our infinitesimally small size, we can be overcome by the material nature. And we do get overcome by the material nature. We have been overcome by the material nature, seems like forever. From time immemorial. And how does that happen? The living entity is described as 1/10,000th part of a tip of a hair. So we're really, really small. We have the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego that covers us. The false ego tells us we're something that we're not. It tells us that. Let's ask another question. How many Americans do we have in this room today? How many Indians? Raise a hand. Any Russians? African Americans? All those are designations that really don't mean anything to us, but our false ego makes us identify in some category. That's the enemy, you all. That's the biggest enemy we have to overcome, the idea that we think we're something that we're not. Let's see. Nitya, Dharma, Sanatan Dharma. We're talking about the nature of something when we talk about Dharma. So the nature of fire, as we all know, is heat and light. The nature of water is liquidity. And the nature of the soul is service to Krishna. But because we have forgotten that and we think we're something else, then that service nature is what's the word? We play it out in a perverted way. We try to please our senses, bodily senses. We try to please our extended senses, our family, husbands, wives, friends, bosses at work. So we're caught up in this net called samsara, the cycle of birth and death, because we have not learned to break out of the samsara. And that's where bhakti yoga comes in. We learn who we are, we learn who God is, and we learn how to serve. Those three things have to exist for bhakti to be present. God, the supreme being, the living entity who serves that supreme being, and the process of serving that supreme being. Now, what happens is when we start this process of bhakti and we start, I'm going to jump a little ahead because time is shorter than I thought. But we start with hearing about Krishna. That's one of the 9 processes of bhakti. And this hearing, Prabhupada has promised us, if we simply hear, he says, if we simply hear, you don't have to change your position. You can be a doctor, you can be a school teacher, you can be a street sweeper, you can be whatever your station in life is. You can be that and you can reach perfection by hearing. We hear about Krishna's activities. We hear his name when we chant his name. Prabhupada has promised perfection simply from hearing. His spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Prabhupada, he once made a comment about Srila Prabhupada to some of his disciples. They were questioning him about Srila Prabhupada. And Bhaktisiddhanta says, oh, don't worry about him. He listens well. He hears. This was like 40 or 50 years before Prabhupada came to the West to fulfill his spiritual master's order of preaching Krishna consciousness in the West. But this Nitya Dharma comes to light only by contact with the ultimate source, which is Sri Krishna. The living entity is made up of transcendental spiritual consciousness, and Krishna Prema is his intrinsic attribute. And thus, this Nitya Dharma, Krishna Prema, is non material. Keep that non material in the back of your minds today, you all. It's non material, being of transcendental substance, and the purest manifestation of Krishna Prema is unalloyed service to Krishna. And the reason I say keep that in the back of your mind, non-material, because when you engage in bhakti, when you engage in devotional service, you transcend the modes of material nature. Those are the ropes for all the new people. Those are the ropes that bind us to this material world. When I talk about the ropes of passion, the rope of goodness, and the rope of ignorance. They bind the soul and make us forget and stay forgetful. That's the job that Krishna has given these three gunas, these three ropes. Keep them tied down, keep them off balance, keep them not knowing. Why? Because we don't want to surrender. In order to participate in bhakti, in this process, we have to surrender. And how much do you surrender? Prabhupada was talking to some disciples, and he made a comment about an analogy like somebody says that they're not the coat, or they're the coat. This is like the coat, this physical body. We're wearing a coat. And somebody asked Prabhupada, well, how much do we have to surrender? And he says, you have to surrender it all. You're no parts of the coat. And that's what we are. We surrender a little bit. I'll give you an hour a day. But there's 23 other hours that we don't want to surrender. Something like that. Or if we surrender the whole coat, then we don't want to surrender the shirt up under the coat. There's always something that we have to dig down inside and realize, I'm not that. That's not me. And the mind will do that to you all the time. When you're chanting, or when you're dreaming at night in sleep, whenever you are awake, it doesn't matter. The mind throws up ideas from impressions long ago sometimes, and sometimes just something you heard recently comes and pops up into your mind. But you don't think to look and see, was that my thought, or did the mind just throw that up? That's conditioned life. We're conditioned not to look and see. Why did that particular thought come to my mind? I wasn't thinking that. Has anybody ever experienced that? But thought just come up and you're like, where did that come from? But we're so conditioned that when the thoughts come up and we don't know who we are, then we start to acting on the thought. Oh, I got to have that. I have to do that. And your false ego tells you, oh, you deserve it. You've been working so hard. You deserve it. Take a break. That's what we have to be cautioned about. So bhakti allows us to control our mind as well as our activities. Krishna says, no, this is Bhakti Vinod Thakur, one of our acharyas. Those yogis or mystics who engage in devotional service are first class yogis. They, in Bhagavad Gita, are constantly thinking of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These yogis are not without knowledge and renunciation. Knowledge and renunciation. Vairagya. As we talk about Krishna, as we hear about Krishna, we get knowledge of Krishna. And Krishna, when I say knowledge of Krishna, I'm not just talking about the Krishna. I'm talking about knowledge of everything. Because Krishna is everything. And we forget that a lot of times too. We're supposed to be able to see Krishna everywhere, but we don't. Like one time at Ratha Yatra, we had Ratha Yatra on Western Avenue in the park. And I was on the outskirts, and I was sitting on a bench at a bus stop. And this Muslim fellow came up to me and says, "What's going on over there?" And I started to explain to him about Jagannath. He couldn't pick up on it. It was just over his head. And we continued to talk. And then I said, "Don't you believe that God is everywhere?" He says, "Oh, yeah, he's everywhere." Then I said, "Well, why can't he be there?" He thought about it. He said, "Maybe you're right." That goes back to this transcendental state. Bhakti gives us transcendence. We may not recognize it because we're not used to recognizing it. Just like we may not be used to hearing Krishna as Paramatma speak to us. We have to practice hearing it. We have to practice seeing it. We have to practice knowing that this is what I'm made for. I'm made to serve Krishna. I'm made to serve God. And as you come into that consciousness, things are revealed to you. The truth is revealed to you. We're not to be blind followers. Don't just listen to what I'm saying and take it because I said it. But in your own life, apply it to see if it's true. And Krishna in your heart will let you know, yeah, I'm here, I'm true. He'll give you a glimpse. You might catch it and you might not. He'll give you another glimpse. Hopefully you'll catch it. And hopefully you'll learn, oh, that's what it is. That's Krishna talking to me. And the more you stay in contact with that, the better it is. That's how we advance, to be continuous in this bhakti. And liberation. Liberation means getting away from the concept of material life. I just asked you, do you want to go back to Vaikuntha? Do you want to go back to the spiritual sky? Most people raised their hands and said, yeah. But in devotional service, in bhakti yoga, you're already there. The means and the ends are the same. So just like you come here today and you listen, that's bhakti. Continue to do that. No matter what the world throws at you, Always come back to Krishna, because the more you do, then you become steady in it. And when you become steady in it, Krishna reveals himself more. Everything is absolute in Krishna consciousness. So if you come and one of the devotees said, gives you a broom and say, can you help? Can you sweep the temple room? That's an opportunity Krishna is opening up for you so that you can say, Krishna, I love you. Yes, even though I may be busy. Yes, I'll sweep the floor. Why? Because that's what Krishna accepts from us. He accepts our love. The first benefit of this bhakti process, chanting Hare Krishna, is cleansing the mind and the heart. From time immemorial, from we don't know how many embodiments, how many times we've gone through this life, birth and death process. But from time immemorial, we've built up a lot of impressions. And those that are not so good, we need to clean out. And we clean out through this bhakti yoga process of chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's what you want. You want a cleansing. And when I say you, I'm speaking of myself too. So don't think I'm trying to pick on somebody. No matter how advanced we get, if we're in the material world, we've got some anarthas. We've got some things that we need to clean up, clear out, and get away from. The beginning of Bhakti Yoga. You've come here to hear, that's it. In Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, 13th verse, Srila Prabhupada explains the one who is engaged in the service of the Lord by accepting the Bhakti Yoga system immediately, he says, becomes transcendental to the three material qualities, which we talked about, sattva, raja, and tama guna, goodness, passion, and ignorance. And don't be fooled by goodness. It's still a rope. It's still binding. It's the best rope, you could say, if you want to be bound by a rope. But don't be fooled, because Maya, the illusory energy, is designed to fool us. In a morning walk conversation, one of Prabhupada's disciples, his name is Guru Kripa, he had a realization. He said, so actually, back home, back to Godhead means just back to devotional service. Prabhupada says, yes. This devotional service is not an ordinary mundane activity. This devotional service is what creates your spiritual body. I'll say it again. This devotional service creates your spiritual body. So everybody that wants to go back home, back to Godhead, you have to surrender to Krishna and serve him. And you serve him by getting the mercy and the directions and blessings and guidance of a devotee. No one else can do that for you. No one else can help you with that if it's not a devotee. They can be so educated in so many different spheres, but if they're not a devotee, they cannot give you Krishna. So by hearing about Krishna, we become liberated. Good example is Maharaj Parikshit. He had been cursed by a Brahmin boy to die in 7 days. He was a king. He had the power to refute the curse, to make it null and void. But he was such a perfect king. And in his perfection, he wanted to know the truth about Krishna, and he wanted to show his citizenry, his subjects, the right path. So he went to the forest and sat for 7 days, and Sukadev Goswami explained and spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam to him. Srimad Bhagavatam gives us all information about Krishna, more than an encyclopedia. I guess it's an encyclopedia itself. Because this Krishna consciousness is more than a religion, you all. It's the science of the soul. Krishna consciousness is the science of the soul. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Is anybody that don't know who Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in this room? Raise your hand. Okay. Krishna came about 540 years ago, something like that, as a devotee. He came for a few reasons, and one was to establish the Dharma for this age that we live in called Kali, characterized by quarrel and ignorance, and we see it everywhere, quarrel and ignorance. That was his external reason to come, but his internal reason was to see what Radharani, his companion, his internal pleasure potency, he wanted to know what she was feeling with her love for him. And what was it? It was something about her that he just couldn't taste. He couldn't understand. So he came down in the mood of Radharani. And he's given us this Krishna consciousness. He's given us this Krishna prema. Now, we try to describe prema as love, but it really doesn't do justice to the word prema, because prema is the kind of love that there's nothing you can do to stop the person from loving you. It's unconditional for real. And that's how we have to be. If we start to chant or we start to hear and Krishna doesn't reveal to us what we think we want to find out, we don't stop and get mad at him and say, forget it, and do something else. We just say, well, Krishna, I love you anyway, and I'm going to keep doing it. We have to be persistent. Just think, there's unlimited devotees in the 3 worlds. What makes us think Krishna should pay us attention? That's the false ego. Why would we tell Krishna, I'll love you, I'll serve you as long as you take me back home to Godhead? It's not about Krishna, that's about us. It's our sickness. We want the world to revolve around us, but it doesn't. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends this process of hearing and chanting. He says, you remain in your position. It doesn't require you to change because you are, he says, doctor, washerman. It doesn't matter. You remain in your position. But lend your ears. This Krishna consciousness is so powerful. Krishna is so powerful and he's transcendental. Remember, you're going to see him with your eyes closed. You're not going to see this. He comes in with his mercy and appears as a deity for us because of our weaknesses, because of our material coverings. But when you see Krishna work in your life, you can see it with your eyes closed. That's transcendental. Don't be afraid to transcend. We have to elevate ourselves. We have to transcend, you all. Please hear me. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's Krishna himself. So he's given us the way. He came to give us the way. I'm going to show you what to do. Cross this line right here, that's a T. Put this dot right here, that's an I. He holds our hand and shows us through the devotees, through the spiritual masters. We need that. And then Srila Prabhupada says, I love this. Prabhupada said in one of his lectures, if you simply come here and hear about Krishna, you will be liberated. Don't worry about if you know or you don't know or you're not so sure. Just keep coming and hearing. Krishna purifies us. Krishna is present in the sound of his name. He is the sound. So when we say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're begging Krishna to help us, to consider us in our feeble attempts, to consider us with all our anarthas, with all this ugliness that only we know about ourselves. No, we don't. We try to keep it secret so we don't tell anybody, but we know in the back of our minds, I didn't do that right. I got away with it, but it wasn't cool. It wasn't proper, but I got away with it. Nobody knows. Krishna knows. And he knows that we're weak. He knows that he set this system up for us to overcome, to be overcome, until when? Until we decide we want to love and serve him. Bhakti Yoga, Nitya Dharma, Sanatan Dharma. That's our nature, no matter what, to serve the Lord. Don't let it be perverted and get hung up in serving something else. You can do your service to something else, but do it as a sacrifice to Krishna. If you have to cook a meal, cook that meal for Krishna. If you have to go to the grocery store, drive your car for Krishna. It's simple as that. It's about remembering Krishna all the time, never forgetting it. And that purifies you. That brings you to the point where you begin to understand. And the more you begin to understand, the more you really do understand and the more you see. We can have this conversation today. And you come back in 6 months and have the same conversation. You're going to see more deeply into it, what I'm talking about. That's how it is. You go over it again in a year, it's going to even more out of the same substance is going to be revealed. That's how bhakti works. That's how bhakti yoga works. So we have to have God, we have to have the server, and we have to have the process. The role of the spiritual master is most important and keyword, essential. It's essential. If you really want to be down, as they say, if you want to be really with it, you have to consider, I'm going to have to take a spiritual master. So start thinking about it. Who do I like? Who am I attracted to? Take initiation. Do it the right way. It's just like you go to school, you get a syllabus, and they tell you, well, in 4 weeks, you got this due. In 8 weeks, you're going to do this. And in 16 weeks, you get your final. You get a roadmap. So the roadmap is get your spiritual master. And until you get your spiritual master, friend up with some devotees. Ask them to help you understand. Ask them to engage you in some service. That's where the rubber meets the road, in this service. It has nothing to do with your skin color. It has nothing to do with your age. It has nothing to do with your sex. It has nothing to do with your intelligence. It has nothing to do with anything material. This is outside of the modes of material nature. And this is where we come from. This is who we are. This is how we should be taught, but we were taught the wrong thing, the wrong way. So that makes us conditioned souls, all of us. We're all conditioned. So we must become unconditioned. And this Krishna consciousness is what will do it for us. The means and the end are all the same, transcendental you are. Now, your love is not love. We think we love somebody, or we think we want to love somebody. But that's just a bargain we make with somebody. Some business deal. You do this for me, I do that for you. That's not love. That's not bhakti. That won't get you into the kingdom because it's about I, me, my. You're my wife. I'm your husband, or whatever, we point that finger. You do what I tell you to do because you're my child. We don't own anybody. We don't own anybody. We've been given the opportunity to serve our children, bring them up in Krishna consciousness, hopefully, so that they won't have to go through the struggle that we're going through. Do we have more time? Are there any questions? I'm sure somebody has some questions. Because this is a very important subject. It's the difference between having it right and having it wrong. We've been having it wrong from time immemorial. So this time, in this embodiment, let's do it right. And let's do it right together. Look at all those people here. There's a lot of us. Let's do this together. We can practice our love. with each other. We can practice being humble. We can practice being tolerant. We can learn. We can learn. We can experience transcendental life. Together, together. Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. John.
Jai.
John.
Jai. Okay, thank you so much, Vamani Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
The prasadam or the dinner will be served on third floor, but there will be kirtan going on here in the temple room. So you could go, have your dinner and come back and enjoy the very nice kirtan which will go on until 8 p.m. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Hey, brother.
Namo Vishnupadaya Snaprishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Hare Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Vasadi Gaur Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kishore Kishori Jaya, Kishore Kishori Jaya, Kishore Kishori Jaya, Kishore Kishori. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Thank you, Mataji. I really want to.
जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Shobhadra, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Shobhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Govinda Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe 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 Govinda. 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Yeah. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for sitting right by me. Thank you, Mataji. Thanks, Radhika. I saw you dancing and I smiled.